Democrats win and we lose, liberties disappear almost overnight. But when we win, the only penalty for them is they get more of their money, more of their health care decision-making process goes back to them, and things like school choice are with good Republicans. There's no penalty for them, none. No one ever suffers by making more of their own personal choices. But then when we lose, it all dissipates. And yet our side, not the folks in this room, are the first ones to give up, with a penalty being exponentially more severe for you doing that. That's always baffled me. But on the Obamacare topic, folks, this was a very strategic fight for this guy. And make no mistake, this guy and his administration, they are absolutely playing for keeps. You know, I say this a lot, some people, I always get a couple moans and groans. I worked through the Clinton administration, the Bush administration, and the Obama administration. And God knows I disagree with Bill Clinton on just about every policy decision out there, but I'll tell you right now, the man knew when to dial it back. Because he was a politician first. That's not a bad thing sometimes. It's not, especially when it's the other side. On our side, it typically is. But on their side, they know what he understood when the heat was getting too low and people were starting, hey, it's getting a little cold. This guy doesn't care if you freeze to death. That's the thing. So whenever these people tell you, like, oh, President Obama is such a great politician, no, he's the worst politician I've ever seen. Completely. He would have won that last election, I'd argue you, by 7 to 10 points if he just would have come out for a middle-class tax cut and not raise taxes. There's no question, it polled off the charts everywhere. Don't raise my taxes. He did it anyway. Because he is an ideologue first. That is very, very dangerous. And that's why this Obamacare fight is so pivotal. Think about this. If you don't think that this had anything to do with liberty, when I say liberty in the health care, I want to make it real. I want to make it believe, as they used to say in the White House. Make it flesh and blood for you. Why did they go after the health savings accounts? It was universally beloved. Why did they go after it? It polled well, people liked it. The health saved my money, I control it, tax-free. There was no controversy about it at all. Why go after that program? Because their ideology was corrupted by it. Because what did the health savings account involve that nothing else in Obamacare did? Choice. Independence, individual liberty, the ability for you to control your own health care. They could not have that. Because for all the bad health care policy that Capitals put out, and believe me, this is an epic fight that rages, I would argue, over a century, not just decades. Of all the bad health care policy that's been put out, every one that's marginally turned the heat up rather than down and moved back towards individual liberty, when you look at things like Medicare Part D, which I didn't support, but at least the model made more sense than what we have now, they went after it. Even though it was popular, because they cannot compete against individual choice. They can't, it's foolish. It makes no sense. But they sell it to you as this expansion of your ability. You shouldn't have to pay for health care, folks, kids. And the kids believe it. They see it as an empowerment tool, not a disempowerment tool, because they really believe it's free. But shame on us, because we don't make it bleed. We don't make it real. I watched that Hannity special last night with these college kids. I couldn't believe it. Despite an overwhelming mound of evidence that you are going through a period of economic enslavement due to this Obamacare legislation, these kids still believe this is some kind of liberty-inducing empowerment tool. But oh, now I can go out and play the guitar and sing songs and I don't have to worry about my health care. But again, shame on us. Now, the new media atmosphere is really helping us get the message out, but it's not enough. Now, we've been with folks like Ted Cruz and Rand Paul, we've been out there bypassing traditional media, because you can't ignore them. They love to, but you just can't. It's almost to the point of ridiculousness now. Like, they just can't ignore it. And when he gets up there, and they want to paint him as they painted Reagan, oh, he's crazy, they just can't do it. Because he talks to people, oh, that makes sense. Really, I mean, I've had Democrats come up to me and go, oh, that guy's a nut. I go, really, what's nutty? Tell me, give me the nutty policy. They have no idea. And then they hear him, and they'll be the same folks that come back to him and go, he's really not that crazy. We have to start talking about the real penalties in real life to people, but present a viable option later. And when I do that, I always keep it about the umbrella topic. I think a big mistake we make as activists, bloggers, candidates and activists, whatever it may be, is we constantly get lost in the granular. Like the donut hole, I was talking again outside of the that gets brought up all the time, the donut. Folks, they ate the donut. Like the donut's gone, there's no donut hole. Like the donut hole is a creation of their own animosity towards free choice. So when you get lost in the minutiae, you say, well, the guy says to you, typical guy, well, why shouldn't we cover that difference? It doesn't make any sense. Middle class, older folks, or even Catholic, everybody's not going to say that. And they never ask the big question. Well, who created that? What's the evidence that the system they created worked? And how do we fix it? They have no answers, zero. I debated a guy on, I filled in on a radio show last week, and this guy called from Florida, this guy Casey, he was at the seminar call, you could tell he had the talking points in front of him. And I guess he's just used to the talking points just being accepted. But I wouldn't let him get away with any of them. And I said to him, give me another product out there or service that disobeys the laws of economics, like healthcare does. I said, anything. What other product do you buy, Wonder Bread, cars, education, anything, that you don't want to choose for yourself who the service providers? Anything. You want to give the money to your neighbor. No, it's not my neighbor, it's Congress. Oh, even worse. So they know better. So you want to give your decision-making on healthcare to a third party who suffers absolutely no ramifications, none at all, actually grows in stature from taking your decision away. You want to give it to him and you think he knows more about your health care than you do. There's no answer for that question.